Hello, welcome. We are Indigo Sisterhood, and we have a special guest today. We have Tarrah Layne. Tarrah is a wonderful friend of ours. She's really, really awesome. I wanted to interview her today and kind of pick her brain about some of the stuff that she loved to do, including Reiki. I'm not sure if you've heard of Reiki before, and some of her art and her writings and things like that. So without further ado, I guess we can just kind of introduce Miss Tarrah Layne. Tarrah, welcome to Indigo Sisterhood.
Hi, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for being here. We really appreciate you being here.
Awesome. So, do you want me to just kind of talk a little bit about what I do and things like that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So, my name's Tarrah. Layne is not my last name, but I go by Tarrah Layne on social media. Um, I do have a day job, which I will not talk about. Um, I also am working with a legal services program. If you'd like more information about that, you can contact me. I'm sure the Indigo Sisterhood will share my social media information. Yeah, so I write. I haven't written in a while, but I make bracelets and I infuse them with Reiki. I am a Reiki practitioner, and I like to go on long walks on the beach if I can get to a beach. I love to read. I love interacting just with people in general, but I really am a firm believer in trying to cultivate a world that is that supports all of us on this planet. So, you know, I wouldn't call myself an activist, but I do follow a lot of activists on social media so I can learn about things that I can do personally and share with my friends and my family, whether it be regarding racial discrimination, uh, things in the LGBTQ plus community, just all over the board, just because it's all necessary. We have to build these things and support people in all ways possible. And of course, the earth. So that's it. I didn't prepare any kind of introduction for myself, but that's the gist of who I am. Uh, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. And can you tell us a little bit more about Reiki?
Sure. So Reiki was reintroduced into the world by Dr. Mikao Usui. I don't remember the year, but it was a while ago. But Reiki is a way of energy healing. Reiki means life force in Japanese, but it's not necessarily of Japanese origin. That's just the word that's been popularized but it's been around since the beginning of time. And it's this universal energy that every single person, every single being on this earth has access to, and you can utilize that energy to help to facilitate healing in your life in different ways. And Reiki works on all levels. So your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects can be affected by the Reiki work that you do. And you can use it with anything. So like if you're cooking and you want to infuse your cooking with it, or if you're making jewelry or pottery or whatever, you can utilize it. I mean, you can set your space, so your living space, if you want to Reiki your living room, you can do that and set an intention with it. It's literally anything that you can think of, you can utilize it for. And your intention with it is always what's most important. I don't know if it's possible to try to use Reiki to do something negative with it. Like if that's your intention, I don't think it'll necessarily work in the way that you think it'll work. It'll probably bounce back to you in some way, shape, or form.
Probably.
I personally have never tried to do anything negative with Reiki, just because that's not the kind of person I am. I'm sure there are probably people out there that have tried that, but Um, but yeah, for me, I choose to use it as a means of healing that supports my highest good of potential in my life. And when I am practicing Reiki with other people, that's always my intention as well. So it's a little bit of it.
Well, Michelle, do you have any questions?
Um, Actually, I don't know if I messed up the thing, but I got a call and it cut me out, so I just got cut back in. So I feel really bad, but I didn't know how to get it off, so I missed some of it. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's all
That's
right.
not what happened to me today on this very day. Only me.
But so as far as Reiki, Megan, I know you practice Reiki.
Yeah.
You're Reiki master, right?
Yes, and so is Michelle. She's a Reiki master too.
Yes.
I did not know that. So there you
Yeah.
go. So why don't you talk a little bit about what Reiki has done or how you've utilized Reiki in your lives?
Well, with me, I used to practice Reiki like every single day, but I haven't in a while, which I should start getting back into it because I know it feels really, really good. With Reiki, you're basically a channel. So you basically channel either symbols that you use, and you channel the Reiki through you, and it goes through your hands, and it goes to the person that you're sending Reiki to, or food, or animal, or plant, flowers, earth, whatever. I know for me, when I use Reiki, it's always for the same intention as Tarrah, just for the highest good of all. Um, but yeah, I haven't used it on myself in a while, which I want to get back into because it feels really good. And you can actually balance your chakras. We all have chakras in our bodies. You can also balance your chakras with Reiki, and um, there's so many things you can do with Reiki. It's incredible. It's a really beautiful art that I've been using for a few years now. So yeah, what about you, Michelle?
Yeah, I mean, I had don't do Reiki on myself too much, but maybe I should. It's more, I usually do it on other people. Like friends will ask me, and I've done since I've been back on Friends here, and a lot of like distance Reiki, which I think is just as wonderful. And I like to connect with. I used to go like every week to a circle with my friends here, but I've just been so busy lately, and I always make the intention that I want to go, and I'm going to go. I'm going to go next week. I'm telling myself I'm going to do it. But yeah, just to like sit and, it's usually like an hour, and we do a silent prayer and then give Reiki to each other. And it's just really beautiful and calming and necessary. um, yeah, I like to do it with a long meditation. I know you don't really need a long meditation, really. Sometimes just 5 minutes is enough, but I like to get deep into it when I can, like give myself an hour, like really let it set in. So, yeah, I need to go do some more Reiki. I do.
Definitely. So when both of you were doing it more regularly, what did you more so focus on? If you can speak to that, like, were you doing it more regularly on yourself, or were you doing it more regularly with your friends, or with any tools that you might use, like your pendulums or stones or anything like that, or your cards, tarot cards, oracle cards?
Definitely crystals for me, and cards. We did all the things. We always have like when we do it in the group, we have a big kind of spread, and there's usually some sort of crystal, whatever we're feeling, called to, and then we might pick a card at the beginning or maybe at the end. But always, I think what we focus on more is like to set an intention for what we're there to do. And I think when I was doing it more regularly, I did a lot of the same, like wanting to heal, like for the highest good of everyone and everything, and sending love to the world is always important. And yeah, I think personally, when I was doing it every day, uh, yeah, I was in a more stressful situation in life, and I think it just really helped me to cope with what was going on. So I needed it more, maybe. Yeah, like I needed it more at the time, but I think you kind of always need that quiet time, but maybe you don't think you do because you're busy and you think you're good, but it's always good to be quiet and go within and make that time to, be with yourself.
Yeah, I agree with Michelle. Like for me, like I mostly did it to balance my chakras, especially like my lower chakras, and also with stress too. Like it really helps with stress and stuff, and it just helps to calm you and calm your mind. And in a way, it's like you're meditating too, so you're kind of like connecting with your higher self. So I kind of used it for those things. And with clients or with friends, it's more so whatever the Reiki wants to do. Reiki is so intelligent; it's going to go wherever it needs to go. So yeah, like I have done Reiki on others where I get insights for them from their higher self, from their spirit guides. I've done Reiki where I've helped people that have had pain in their bodies. And then, of course, with balancing the chakras and things like that. So I guess it just depends on your intention and where the Reiki wants to go.
That's really cool. So, sorry. um, um, so, in addition to Reiki, um, have you ever explored any other types of energy work like Qigong or the other iterations of Reiki? Because I know there's like a million of them out there.
I've done different forms of Reiki, or I've seen different forms of Reiki, but I haven't like done it necessarily. I just know like the traditional Reiki form. I'm not sure if I've tried Qigong. Did I pronounce it? Qigong? I'm not sure if I've tried that before. I've heard of it, but I don't know. I just mostly practice. If I do Reiki, it's usually like the traditional Reiki or energy work. But I know there's so many different types of energy healings too. So that's a good question. What about you, Michelle?
Yeah, I'm the same. I mostly just, do regular Reiki, but I have heard of the other one. They used to have this place where I lived, a group that met in the park, and they would do, is it Qigong or Qigong at like 6 in the morning. And I'm like, wow, that sounds really interesting, but I was always so tired on the weekend at like 6 o'clock. But I
Yeah.
always was like, maybe I'll check it out. So now that I'm back in Florida, I don't know, maybe they have like a group here that I could find, because it'd be interesting to kind of like see what else, is out there.
What about you, Tarrah?
No, not any sort of named energy work. Before I got my first attunement, I don't know. Okay, so when I was younger, I'm trying to think of how to protect the identities of people. So I used to feel like I was doing something as far as energy work. Like I would sit down and put my hands, palm to palm, and kind of envision, stuff between my hand. But it wasn't like, I didn't call it energy work. It was just me being an imaginative little kid, and then really believing that something was happening. Like, wow, like I really feel this heat, or wow, I really see this light, or da 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 da. And that kind of fell away when I was younger, but I didn't call it energy work or anything. And it wasn't until years and years and years later that I heard of Reiki and I was interested in it, but I never actually took the time to actually explore it and see what it could mean for me. And a lot of that was because I was scared about you know, my own personal spiritual journey and what that would mean for me and how it would relate to, you know, my family and, you know, other people that I knew. But I was still really curious about it. And it's always, you always hear that whatever is for you will always come back to you in some way, shape, or form. Like, it's always going to find you. You can run and run and run, but it does not matter. It is going to come back. So I remember, I think it was 2000, it was either 2014 or 2015. I think it might have been 2015, where I was really like, you know what? I want to find a Reiki master. Like, I want one. I was having dreams about going on little adventures with people to find a Reiki teacher in my area. Because where I live, it's a really, I don't want to say desolate because it's not a desert or anything like that. It's just, there's a very type of specific person that you'll find here regularly. And it's not somebody that's open about Reiki or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it turns out that one of my coworkers, her son, was actually a Reiki master, and I got my first attunement by him. And I was like, okay, cool, wow, like this is serious. When I got the attunement, I just felt such peace, and I don't remember if I fell asleep. I think I might have nodded off a little bit, like after he was done, and then you just feel the energy flow increase. But yeah, I zoned out for sure, and everything just felt like the air was like sparkling, or whatever. Like, that's what it felt like. But aside from Reiki, you know, I didn't do anything else, because to me, you know, there are different ways you can call in different types of energy, but to me it's all the same. It's just your intention and whatever your purpose is for whatever it is you need to do with it might fluctuate. And so before I even did my second attunement, it's another long story, but I would do like distance work with people. And if you're familiar with Reiki, you know that the first attunement is like for self-healing and in-person healing. And then the second attunement is when you get the attunement to do the distance healing. But I was doing distance healing before then because I didn't feel like I actually needed that second attunement to do it. I knew intuitively that I can still do the distance healing without. So it's a weird, it's a weird relationship, but Reiki is pretty much all I've done. And I've done like shamanic work. I've had shamanic work happen while doing sessions where I see like really in-depth visions about specific things that are happening on an energetic level with people. And that's really interesting, especially when it's really vivid and clear. It's like, wow, that actually happened. And you tell the person, like, really? That makes so much sense. So it's funny. It's interesting all around.
So you mentioned shamanism. Do you practice shamanism?
Not regularly, but I have. I did my first official shamanic journey. Was it last year? I think it was last year. I can't remember if it was just really early this year or last year. I think it was last year though. I did a class first, and that was to connect with Sekhmet. That was really interesting. And then, wow, it feels like so long ago. And then I did an in-person journey, single person journey. It was me and just the teacher. And that was also last year. So with that session, connected with some guides, and then also she said, okay, there's soul retrieval work that was to be done as well. So apparently it was like 8 different pieces that that came back for reintegration. I was like, oh wow, that's a lot.
Hey, where have you been?
Hey. So it's been really interesting in seeing how all of that has kind of played out. I need to journal more because sometimes I'll just forget you know, I'll have the experience and then I'll just allow it to be, and then I'll just continue to go about my life. Not necessarily dismissing what happened. It's just, I'm lazy with journaling. I'm just going to be honest. I'm really lazy with it. But it's interesting, you know, to see after you have that kind of work done, what happens and what shows up in your life to help the healing process.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Michelle? Have you done any forms of shamanism?
No, but I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt called to, like, I want to do that. I really do.
Yeah.
Deep stuff.
Yeah, it is. It's really cool. And I mean, you can do your own journey. Just find a track on YouTube and just a drumming track, and try to find one that's like an authentic drumming track where they have where it's just one drum, just boom, 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 and then you can go into that space yourself. And it works. And then the more that you practice it, the easier it'll become for you to get into that space. The journey itself might not be easy because you never know what's going to come up, but it'll become a little bit easier to drop into that space, so that way you can do whatever the work is that you need to do.
Yes, I'm learning so much today. I love this.
Yes. But yeah, and then with Reiki sessions, if you incorporate, because I never intentionally incorporate shamanic journey with the session. It's like if it happens to come up, then it'll come up. Like some sessions, you might just see like an image, like a flower or something, and that flower has a specific meaning. Or you might see like an inner child come through or something like that, and then that's it. But there are some sessions where you're like, okay, we're walking through the jungle, you see this symbol over here, you got to stop, you're going to take this mud bath to clear it. Like that stuff will just come up. It's like, okay, well, this happened, so I feel awkward about telling you, but this is what I saw. You just gotta, you just
it's so
tell
important
them.
to trust it too, to trust
Yeah.
what you receive.
Yeah, I think it's more so like for me, it's still, because it still feels so out there that you just, for me, I feel uncomfortable sometimes sharing that with people, because it's like, you just have a really vivid imagination. It's like, is it though? Or is this what you need to hear? So I'm just going to share it, and then you do with it what you will. I don't have any attachment to that. So there's that. Who was that? Hi, sorry. I came up to the attic for so I could talk to you all. And somebody came. But yeah.
I got the phone call. You have a visitor. I don't know. I was like trying to decline it. I'm like, oh, it's 1, 2, 3 though. That's exciting.
Oh, cool.
You guys know. I love it.
That's cool.
How much time do we have? I wanted to share that I pulled this card. Can I share it real quick?
Yeah, sure. Ooh, love.
This love card.
Oh.
Guys, I'm feeling this love card. I'm going to read what it says. This card indicates a need to see the world through the eyes of love and to remember at all times that only love is real. When you look beyond the illusion to see the beauty in the world, you align yourself with source and the intentions of your soul. Because you attract what you are when you see through the eyes of love. That's what will surround you in all areas of your life. Oh, there's a lot more. I won't even read the whole thing, but the affirmation is, I see through the eyes of love and attract more love into my life. Oh, I think that's so pretty.
Oh, I love it.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
I just wanted to. I felt called to share that card.
Yeah. Well, it relates actually a lot to the work that I've been doing recently. Yeah. So I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna receive it.
Yay,
Confirmation.
Mm-hmm. Very much so. Oh, I want to. Did you hear that?
They're
It's the
calling.
phone ringing. Now, just really quickly, I went on a Reiki retreat this past week. It was the week of the 15th.
Is that when you went to New York?
16th. Yes, when I went to New York. So I went with Amanda Skeet, or you might know of Alasonye, and our friend Kim, because Amanda held a Reiki class. And so we just went up there and just hung out, and yeah, it was amazing.
Cool.
It was amazing. Yeah. And it was really nice because it was the most I've not been near my phone. Like I would just go put it in the room and then just walk around and like, oh wait, I should probably check it to see if somebody called me or something. But it was nice to have that peace, not quiet that you mentioned, you know, there was not a TV in the space because we stayed in the Airbnb. There was no TV there. And so we really just spent time together talking, but we also gave each other space, you know, like to go, if we needed to go be somewhere quiet by ourselves, we didn't hold any type of expectation. We just held space for one another, which was really beautiful. And there was a lot that happened.
I can imagine.
It was this is very peaceful. And Kim, she's a chef. So if you're ever in New York City, you have to eat her food because she's amazing.
Oh no, it says that we have unlimited minutes left.
What does that mean?
That's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, we only have a few minutes left.
But yeah, Kim is a chef. So she cooked for us, and we had a fun time trying to shop for food because we went to one little market, but they didn't have, what was it? They didn't have something. It was like just this one thing. And then she said, well, let's just go to the other grocery store and see if they have everything we need. Because it was a smaller grocery store, but you know, with it being New York City, you just walk down a few blocks. And then there you have it. It was a treasure trove of food and amazingness.
New York City.
It was nice. And we stayed in Queens, and the place where we stayed was it was just really peaceful. I mean, there was a lot of houses around, but it was quiet. It was nice. Some of the trees started to bloom, so there were nice. It was nice to see the flowers on all the trees and everything.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Me too.
Yeah, it's always good to get away and just to be with soul family and just to connect, you know, with people that are like-minded. It's really nice just to get away for a bit.
Yeah. Have either of you been on a retreat?
Yeah, I used to stay at a mega institute for a few months. So there's constantly like retreats going on and workshops and stuff like that. So I definitely have participated in quite a few of them. Yeah.
Not me.
Oh, you should.
But I would like to one day.
One day.
I always look at the what's the one? I really want to do like a silent retreat.
Oh, I've done that before.
I need the quiet. That's the one I'm going to save up to do. I know they have some around here. They're pretty pricey. So, yeah.
Well, ladies, since we only have a few minutes, I guess we can wrap up now. Tarrah, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And where can people find you online if you want to look you up?
At Tarrah Layne. It's TarrahLayne. That's on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. But my I think my profiles, except for my Instagram, are private right now, just because. I mean, you can still add me, or you can just follow me, and that'll work out. But yeah, that's where you can find me, and on Medium as well. medium.com at Tarrah Layne. So same thing.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you
Thank
guys have
you.
a beautiful Sunday. I hope this records. I can find the link because usually Jillian's the one that does this. It's one that, like, yeah. So I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, thank you, ladies, so much for joining, and I hope you guys have a beautiful Sunday.
Thank you. Take care, guys.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.